Hi my loves, welcome back to today's video. I'm finally giving you guys part 3 of Lil Peep's Everybody's Everything. We have an hour left and I'm just going to do the full thing because you guys have been waiting so long for this. Thank you guys for being patient, and I wanted to make sure I got this out to you guys, especially before my filming frequency starts to dwindle. Before that, we have a sponsor, so let's just jump right to the sponsor.
Then we finished the tour, the last few dates in Seattle. Then there was like a day or two off, and then there was the end LA show.
Watch out, vehicle stopped on shoulder ahead.
He had been touring around the country and the world, and I was excited to finally see him in Los Angeles after, his rise as a young independent artist. And I think I got to the show maybe a half an hour before he was supposed to go on, and Chase comes over to me and he said, I was thinking about canceling the show. And I said, why? And he goes, because I think Pete might have taken a little too much of something. And I was like, that's not good. And all of a sudden, everybody kind of empties the backstage, and I think there's about 5 minutes before showtime. Chase runs and tries to get the stage ready, and we're in the stairwell, and it's just Peep and I. And Peep looks at me, he goes, I don't know if I can do this. And I was like, okay. And some guy opens the door and he goes, it's time. I go, all right, and look at Peep, and I'm fearful that he won't be able to find the stage because he's disoriented. He runs on stage, he's able to stand.
See, this is what I mean, like when I talked previously about like how much management actually cared about the well-being of him. And I know one of you guys in my comments actually said like management ended up being terrible, and after Pete passed, I think his family filed like a wrongful death lawsuit. It's like moments like this he's actively saying, you know, like he can't do the show, and like the first response is like, oh shit, like this doesn't look good. You know, like where is the consideration for his health at all? You know what I mean? And I think that's a sad part about a lot of artists is they get to a point where like they blow up so big that nobody really gives a fuck about how they're actually doing, how their health is. And it's just so sad knowing ultimately what's going to happen to him, that this is the way that he was treated.
You don't even know what I'm into. You don't gotta let me bitch do. Blowing on my phone like I miss you. Know you know when I kiss you. You don't even know what I'm into. You don't gotta let me bitch do. Blowing on my phone like I miss you.
There was a lot of talk about what was going to happen if he wasn't able to perform. There was talks of even calling to like not make the show cancellation be on his back, but like calling the fire department and reporting the venue over capacity and having the city come and shut the show down instead of it being canceled on our end.
It keeps on telling me, Pete, leave it alone. I'm good on my own, miss me at home, but I'm good on my own. Baby, come back.
There was a point where he like disassociated with like the show. And I start hitting the fog machine, like just like flood the stage with fog. And like Tessa was next to me and she had like a trash can in case he needed to puke. It worried me, you know, like I was like, yo, like the one day you're like out of my sight, it's like things went really bad. And like, I don't know what was about to happen when he hit that weird dazed moment. It was really weird.
See, that's the thing though, because he says like it worried him, but obviously not enough to cancel the show, not enough to cancel the show themselves, because that would look bad. Like, it's just like giving money grab. It's giving, all they really gave a fuck about was how much money they were making. And it's like, you can tell in this show, like there's no energy, there's no hype. Like he is not even at the capacity to be able to perform well. He's just standing on stage. You can tell the crowd is like just kind of like, you know, singing along, but it's not the same energy you see when he's in his prime. So like at that point, what is even the purpose of having a show like this? Sure, you might lose out on money, okay, and like, I don't know, in my opinion, I feel like it would have been better to cancel the show, reschedule it, you know. I understand that you would lose a lot of money, but they're already making so much money. And what's the purpose of having a show like this where it's not even really like a Lil Peep show? You know what I mean? Like, it's not what people pay to see. And ultimately, he's not there all the way. You know? Like, that's just... Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, y'all. But that is just something that is so irritating to watch in a lot of these bigger artists. Just seeing the fact that nobody really gives a fuck.
It was very unlike him. I don't know what happened, and he snapped right back into it.
He found it. He like found his way. He mumbled through the first song and got the chorus, and at a moment it clicked. He killed the entire show. After the show, all the record people are just blown away, thinking like, this is the guy. I go upstairs to say hello to him. He goes, I told you I could do it. And at that moment, I was like, we got a problem.
I'm sorry, man. You know me.
And he was kind of nodding off something and putting some ecstasy in his mouth to get on stage. And, you know, Chase was sort of like, get that shit out of your mouth, like hands down his throat, like trying to literally fish the pill out of his mouth. You know, and there's this sort of realization where Peep just sort of grabbed the pill and just ran into the bathroom and locked the door behind him. And it was just a heavy moment where it's this sort of, you're not my dad, or this sort of, you can't control me. He divulged a lot of like very intimate, very personal things. Just feel like he had a crazy life. And I think what it told me was just like, it's someone who almost went through some sort of like ego death or something. Like he felt like he like transcended his own ego, or the battle that someone would have with their own ego, and acknowledging their own pride and sort of all these things. It just seemed like something had crushed that a long time ago.
Did he ever?
I mean, that's it. Like, what do they expect when you essentially make an artist feel like they have no option? The show must go on. There is no canceling. It's like, what? It's just like, what do they expect from him? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even think it was like a whole like, oh, you can't control. Like, he had no option, because clearly y'all didn't create an environment for him to be able to be like, no, I can't do this show. Because even if he can't, he's forced to do it. You know, whether or not they held a gun to his head, right? There was an environment in which he was not able to not do the show. So it's like, what more do you want from him? Like, I feel like that would drive any sane person absolutely mad. Because it's like I said, they don't care about him. They don't care about his mental well-being. I'm just very interested in like the specifics of what happened with management, because I had a feeling the first video that something was going to be off, because it always is.
Talk to you about his dad.
Little bit. It's pretty vague and pretty, not really. He didn't really, and he actually, he did mention that he would tell me more down the road.
When I was a young Pete, my father took me into the city to see a baseball game. He said, son, when you grow up, I'll leave you, and then you'll make a lot of money in like 2 years.
He was the coach dad, so he coached them. And that was really his relationship with them, was to be their coach. I mean, I think if you ask a lot of people, they'll say, yeah, he never talked about his dad. You know, I think he was ashamed of him. I think he may have been ashamed of the way his father treated him.
Johann had so little respect for Gus that he actually would talk to his girlfriend on the phone in the car when Gus was in the back seat. And finally one day Gus went upstairs and told his mother.
Obviously, I've never stopped thinking about what it took for him to do that. He's like 12 or 13 years old and standing there in front of his father, calling his father out to me. And at that moment, from that moment on, you can imagine his relationship with his father.
Oscar, do you know where this cheek could go? Oscar, he gets good shape.
Dear Gus, after the letter I sent you yesterday, I need to write you something else.
because it's been pressing me so sharp and hard on my mind the last couple of days. You all three, your brother, you, and your mother, have been now through 2 very stressful years. The collapse and end of her marriage, and the collapse and end of the only family your brother and you ever knew. This has to be terribly painful and confusing. Off and on, it makes people frantic, bewildered, and furious. It's probably something you cannot talk about with anybody. But my advice is, if you can't talk about it, at least don't deny it or run from it. Ask yourself whom you respect, if anybody, and if there are any such people, write a few words, maybe no more than a short sentence or two, saying to yourself why you respect them. And if you don't respect anything or anybody, including me, ask yourself why you don't. Maybe you have good reasons. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't think you need a reason. Just think about it, not once, but over days. One day you and I might talk about it. Love, your Grandpa Packak.
We didn't talk about it for a long time. He just told me he hated his dad. Doesn't really know him like as a person. And one day he mentioned something about how it fueled a lot of his lyrics. It was bad. It definitely scarred Peep in a way that like I think nobody knew about.
That's what I'm telling you, bro. There was some pain in this kid, and I saw it from the beginning. And there's more to that story that is not my place to speak on, and God knows whose place it is to speak on. It might not be anybody's place to speak on.
I would always tell people, like, he is not lying. He's not making things up. These songs are his true feelings, and this is real. Good or bad, this is all the truth.
Obviously, you hear it in his music. It's very, very apparent in the lyrics that he was unhappy, right? But spending time around him day to day, that wasn't what he gave off. He came off as very, charismatic and alive and like happy.
Which I feel like is the case for a lot of people who are struggling deeply internally. I feel like it's almost like a protection mechanism. You know what I mean? To protect what is truly going on in your mental, to just be happy, to be someone that people will look at and not question, is there anything deeper going on there? You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like it's a defense mechanism for a lot of people, especially when you don't feel like you have that outlet to express yourself. And, I think it's valid, because I think a lot of people who have been through really shitty, traumatic childhoods and just life experiences, it's like, why would you share things? Why would you talk to anyone? Because in a lot of people's minds, no one else is going to understand. They're not going to understand that pain. They're not going to understand what you've gone through. And there's nothing worse than expressing your pain to someone who doesn't understand it. So I feel like when people mask how much they're suffering, it's oftentimes an easier route than trying to open up to a world that doesn't understand who you are.
Just gentle, lighthearted, and honestly good-spirited all the time. Like, I just felt good energy around him all the time. He was never a miser or a negative person. Just like light, like fucking just like goofy as hell. Like, just funny, always joking, like making a joke and everything.
Today, we on hit road dad drive. Cash the fuck out, some Louis Vuitton, some Birkin bags.
10 years ago, went blind. I've been on my own since age 9. 16 lines of blow and I'm fine. Break my bones, but act is my
away.
Chicken breast and coleslaw.
Yeah, pizza base with nothing on it.
I can get a pizza base.
You get creamy fruit salad.
I can get blended. Oh my god, the coleslaw is blended with creamy mayonnaise.
All y'all need is big locked in. Hey guys, jump upstairs.
He was looking out for hella people. Like, he looked out for like everyone. Like, I felt like he was going kind of crazy. It seemed like he was losing his mind for a little bit. He just kind of realized, like, he needs to just do him, and he did.
He seemed uncomfortable in his own house. Like, on edge. I mean, no seats. There's all these people. He's standing in the kitchen. Yeah. There's everyone sitting on the sofa.
It was like he didn't want us to see him that way.
Yeah.
He's written lyrics about it, like, you're in a room full of people, but you're alone.
If people wanted to hang out, even if he was tired, he would never say no. He would never, there were times where he'd be like, I don't want these people in my place. But he wouldn't tell them to leave. I don't know, like saying no to somebody to him was like hurting them, and he didn't want to do it.
He told me he used to like cry in his wardrobe and shit because he didn't even have a bed. People are in his bed, his sofa. He'd sit there and cry, try not to cry too loud, like he would say. He's in his wardrobe crying just on his own, you know?
Which I feel like probably, I mean, not to diagnose anybody's trauma, you know, but like, I do feel like there's like that sense of abandonment from his father, you know, and I feel like a lot of times when you have that, it causes you to be a people pleaser for the rest of your life, you know, because you understand what it's like for people to say no, for people to not be there, for you to not have a safe place. So I feel like no matter what he was going through, he was always trying to provide that for other people, even if it meant sacrificing his own sanity and his own safe place. Like, can you imagine going to these shows and just wanting to come home and decompress, just maybe have some fucking peace and quiet and silence, and you can't do that. You can't just turn on a TV show and like detach from the world because you are constantly catering to everyone around you. Like, that would be exhausting. And like, it's just sad because he passed away so young, knowing that he never really got to have that normal side of life, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, oh, it would be a lot.
Fuck this nigga, he don't want to come to the studio with us, man. Fuck this nigga, man. He don't want to come to the fucking studio with us. Oh yeah? You don't want to come to the studio with us, huh?
But that's when I was like, you have to get out of LA. I realised it was unmanageable with all these people. And I said, you have to get out of LA.
I remember like Dre or Goth, one of them called me and they were crying and they were like, oh my God, like, what are we gonna do? Like, Gus is going to London. And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, he's moving. Like, we all just like went to his house and like he told us he's moving to London. And I'm like, when is he moving? And they're like, tomorrow. And I was like, oh, fuck no. Like, you're lying. Like, there's no way he's moving to London like in one day.
We did not know. Can't afford to fall in love with you. Not today, girl. They said life is a movie, nah, baby, mine is a picture.
Tilt your hands down a little more. Yeah, that's it. And eyes the camera.
I mean, if you saw like his course of action, it's kind of crazy. He just had so many things coming out at all times and so many things around the corner. And he truly gotten into a flow where he was just rolling forward with so much. Fashion was honestly like the next big thing. He wanted to start his own clothing brand, no smoking. He thought to himself, I could design the coolest shit.
And I was like, he's going to Fashion Week. I want him to arrive like a star. I said, I want him to roll into Fashion Week. And I was like, he's going to be a really big star. And he actually was. Everyone went crazy for him.
There was something very innocent and childlike in his lack of understanding at the beginning of the fashion industry, of designers, of photographers, of stylists. He didn't really understand why this was all happening and why there was such an interest in him. Somebody doing their first fashion shoot with Mario Sestino for V magazine, being styled by Nicola Formichetti, a really like ace stylist who's kind of responsible for the careers of like Lady Gaga, who at the time was the creative director for Diesel. It was a huge deal. And so that would give him like that springboard into fashion industry.
How is this fashion? This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
How's your first time in Paris, mate?
I will come and haunt you if I ever fucking die. I'ma be too fly. See me looking like a goddamn.
Can we get a bounce down of that? And can you send it back to that email that I sent?
My friends.
McConan looked at it like this. I like this kid, he's cool as fuck. Let's do this shit. And let's go hard. They were FaceTiming me from that fucking studio constantly. Like, I was supposed to be there as well. It's just that I never liked inserting myself into these situations. I wanted them to, like, fucking have creative freedom in their moments. Like, what the fuck am I gonna offer the situation? Like, I'm not fucking here fucking.
It was very surreal, and I felt with him, I was like, look, you look like me on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, on the outside with all your teeth, that how it's just like, rah, it's scary. I was like, that's how I really am on the inside. And I said, but you on the inside look kind of soft and nice as how I look on the outside. And you know what I'm saying? So we would have this cool little, you know what I'm saying, dynamic with each other to where it's like, we're saying we're little broken-hearted teddy bears and we're like repairing each other. You know what I mean? Him, and so like, you know, we're making this music, right? And so like this music is like, it's gonna heal the world and it's gonna elevate us into pop star land.
Hello. Break my heart, but don't tell me I'm not doing fine, 'cause I'm doing fine. Let me go, I'm spending time not doing fine, but I'm doing fine. Rain for my love, rain for my love, when you got everything that I want.
Damn. Put that out. Sarah's gonna be like, what did they do?
It was great, man. I've never made music like that with anybody. Like, it's just, it was never a dull session. You know what I'm saying? The only time we had to leave the session is because too many people came to the session. And I'm like, Pete, we've got to get out of here. Like, it's just getting hectic. We're not getting no work done. And then like, people, we're so nice, right? And I started having to try to teach him like, bro, and they're gonna take everything. You have to start being like, no, no, no.
And me and McConaughey kind of like fucking towards the end, I'll be honest with you, like, we weren't being dicks. We weren't being haters to like his whole group of friends, like, you know what I mean? But like, did me and McConaughey tell him specifically needed to stop fucking hanging out with everybody he was hanging out with and kind of take a step back and let this like fucking wave get to where it was going? Because I already saw where it was.
I would be with him sometimes and some of his friends would call him and be like, what the fuck, like I'm going on tour, I'm doing this, like we're coming. Sometimes he would really cry and be like, I don't know how to help them, I've done everything. Like they're all homeless, I let them stay at my house, I let them come in and out, I let them wear my clothes, I buy them food.
When we went to London,
which is something that I feel like I talk about all the time with all of these artists, but especially in this Lil Peep documentary, like, people will be energy vampires. They will see the light and they will come like bats out of hell, you know, wanting to have a piece of the bright light and that lifestyle and his energy, and they will drain you until there's nothing left. You know what I mean? And they won't care. It's like when you're in class and you take out a pack of gum and everyone's fucking like asking you for a piece and nobody really cares if at the end of it you have nothing for yourself because they're only looking out for themselves, you know? And I feel like that's why people who have pure, genuine hearts and souls have to be so careful, because you're constantly going to be surrounded by people who don't care, who are not genuine, who don't care about your mental well-being, they don't care about you, they care about themselves and they care about what you can do for them. And it's fucked up. But like, I feel like that's why you have to keep your circle small. As much as you may want to help people and do better and be the example and bring all of these people into a lifestyle that you're coming into, you can't always do that, because you're going to be surrounded by a group of people who might seem like they're so interested in the beginning, but as soon as you stop giving them something that they feel like they are entitled to, you're not worth anything to them anymore. And it's nice to hear like a couple of people actually stepping up and trying to protect him, because I feel like we don't see a lot of people ever trying to protect the artist. You know, you see them trying to exploit them, trying to get rich off of them. So it's nice to hear that people in his close circle were starting to show him, you know, you can't let these people run your life like this. You can't let them be attached to everything you do, because at the end of the day, this is something he created. You know what I mean? And he deserves to have some freaking sanity. Oh my gosh.
Sort of him and GBC were kind of having some sort of riff or something, and they were kind of saying like a lot of negative things, and he was feeling sad and stuff about it. And I was like, a lot of people don't want you to grow without them. You have a lot of great opportunity going on. Your music is so real, and I know that you've been in your pain and hurt to get this music. And this is like, when you do this, you're alone, right? And all you really wanted is others around you. And now you have everybody coming around you for all the wrong reasons. Your friends are gonna start saying the worst things about you. You know what I'm saying? The ones that you were with the longest and you were friends, and then they're gonna start saying the worst things about you, and it's gonna hurt you the most.
I distinctly said to him, you know, you're not just a rapper. And he said, yeah. And I said, you do know that in order to achieve what you're going to be able of achieving, you're going to have to leave people behind. And I said, do you understand that? And he said, yeah. He said, I know that.
Y'all ready?
When Chase reached out and was like, you ready for the next one? I was like, okay, you know, okay. Because now at least I knew a little more of what to expect, and I was coming in a little bit more prepared. So that was nice. But it didn't matter, you know, like it didn't matter in the end because like so many things got changed the week before that tour left.
This is him leaving officially. Fish Narc and Yours is kidnapping. They are responsible. They are responsible. This is him right now. This is the before video in case this goes tits up.
The tour was originally supposed to be just him, and I think he wanted to bring Tracy. You know, that was his original plans until everything went down like a week before tour. He didn't want to tell them I'm leaving GBC without kind of giving them a present, you know, taking them on tour and getting them exposure.
It was like this perfect storm. It's like that was happening while he and I had an issue, and he was touring where I couldn't be close to him. And, you know, and so that led to the situation of having to switch tour crew, and we had a whole new crew. And we had like days to do this. We had maybe like 3 to 5 days.
The people brought in had no fucking idea what they're doing. The LD was holding it down. He was pretty much being production manager and tour manager, and that's not his fucking job, you know what I mean? But he was like, this is a nightmare. This is the worst tour I've ever been on.
What I do, how old I am, where I'm from?
Your name, how old are you, where you're from, what you do.
Okay. My name is Lil Peep. I'm 21. I'm from Long Island, New York. I'm a goth boy, I'm a Laker boy.
Where did you notice Goth Boy Quick starting to pop off?
I noticed Goth Boy Quick started to pop up when I had to start walking around with my shades on, you feel me?
What's it feel like to see kids lying down the block to see you?
It feels like I gotta keep my shades on.
You gotta answer it differently.
Okay.
So the feeling I get from seeing kids lying down the block.
The feeling I get from seeing kids lying down the block for my show is that I gotta keep my shades on.
How does it feel to have kids sing your lyrics back at you?
When kids sing my lyrics back at me, it reminds me that I need to keep my shades on at all times.
How has this tour been?
This tour has been great. My shades have been on the whole time.
I'm kissing styrofoam. Who know it, I be on? That's what I be on. She know it, I be on. Who know it, I be on? That's what I be on. Baby, move along. I keep moving on. I keep moving on. We keep making up. I keep moving on. We keep making up. I keep moving on. We keep making up. I can't make it up. Somebody wake me up. Yeah. Pulled up with my whole team. Magnet swerving a white beam. Yeah. God boy clear, trying to stay clean. Yeah. God boy clear, we got big dreams. And my new bitch on a movie screen.
you're open through your lyrics and through your music in terms of your relationship with anxiety, and of course the byproducts of things like that, like depression and such. And this is a very important subject now because more than ever we're seeing, you know, kids and young people really suffering through this. This is now an established part of life. You know, how is your relationship with that right now? Now you're actually out on the road, keeping yourself busy, touring, making music. Is it still a struggle for you to stay centered and stay, you know?
Yeah, definitely, man. If anything, things have gotten worse, probably.
Because of the traveling and the touring and the pressure?
Yeah, things just get worse. The anxiety just gets worse and worse and worse every day.
Every time I saw him, he would cry to me. Like, every time, how much he, like, wished, like, everything could go back to normal and he didn't have this pressure on him, and he wished we could just be in his room and, like, do nothing all day like we used to, but, like, it just, like, can't happen.
Okay, really quick, I'm getting confused with both girlfriends. Which one was, like, his current girlfriend? Because they don't have, like, ex-girlfriend. They just have both listed as the girlfriend, the girl with the black hair and then this blonde. Was she, like, the first girlfriend, and then the girl in the black was, like, his current one?
Been anymore.
I have a salmon avocado roll, a tuna avocado roll, an avocado roll, please, extra soy sauce. Can I have your sauce, please?
By the time we get to like El Paso or like those later dates, me and that kid have been up every night for hours. My sleep schedule is stupid. Like, I don't know, I was kind of going insane. For 2 months, you know, for 2 months we were like nonstop. He was going so hard for everyone else.
For the past 2 months, I haven't seen a friend's face.
Friends, business, management, he had a lot of pressure on him, you know? Like, he was just one human being. And I think anybody would have a problem with dealing with all of that. And it came from every angle, you know what I mean? It really did come from every angle. He had a lot of kindness. He had a very warm heart, cared about anybody. Like, you know, like, and like, I think people like were like, oh, because he's so kind, I can like probably get his time, or I can probably get him to do this or that, or like give me a feature, or listen to my problems. And like, he didn't have all the answers for his own problems. Like, how is he supposed to help all these people? I mean, his music was like the most he could give them, I feel like, and people wanted almost more.
Says, I just want to be everybody's everything. I want too much from people, but then I don't want anything from them at the same time. You feel me? I don't let people help me, but I need help, but not when I have my pills. But that's temporary. One day, maybe I won't die young and I'll be happy. What is happy? I always have happiness for like 10 seconds and then it's gone. Getting so tired of this. It's sad that he says maybe I won't die young and I'll be happy, because I think it shows that he was always hoping that the storm was going to end. It was going to balance out. Everything he was going through, everything he was doing was going to one day be worth it. And it was worth it in the sense that his music moved a lot of people and he was able to express himself in that way. But I feel like he never was able to find true, genuine happiness because his environment didn't allow it.
He couldn't be everything to everyone, you know what I mean?
Wednesday, November 15, 2017, 20:52 and 48 seconds.
Hello?
911, what is the emergency?
I need an ambulance.
Okay, what's the address?
I'm at The Rock. I'm at a venue called The Rock.
All right, tell me what's going on there.
I'm working with an artist and he's just completely out of it. He's cold, he's just knocked out. I don't know what he's faking, but he's completely out.
Awake?
He's not awake. We're trying to wake him up and he's not awake at all.
Breathing normally?
I'm not really, no.
All right. We're getting the health center now. I want you to get him flat on his back on the floor with nothing under his head.
I'm on the phone to the ambulance now. I'm on the phone to the ambulance now, bro.
Okay, are you next to him now?
We're in the bus.
Okay, can you get him just flat on the ground?
We need to get him flat on the ground.
If he is not breathing normally, we need to start CPR to keep the oxygen pumping through his blood.
We need to get him flat on his back. We need to get him flat on his back.
CPR now. If he is not
We need to
breathing
get him flat on his back.
we need to get him doing we need to do
On the
CPR.
floor. On the floor, yeah, on the floor.
If whoever's doing it starts to get tired, have somebody else take over.
If she gets tired, then fucking take over. But stay on the phone. Is somebody on their way?
They're already on their way. Lights and sirens. You
They're on their way.
right there. They're not very far away.
You don't know how to call a mother to tell her that her son just died. So I called her and she had like woken up. I think she said she had just gone to sleep, and I was just like, Liza, I'm so sorry. Peep has passed. We think he OD'd, but the paramedics were there and the cops, declared him dead. What kept going through my head is like, I have, 2 babies, and I'm just like putting myself in his mother's shoes, and I'm trying to process that this kid who I've spent the last year and a half taking care of is gone. And
I looked at him like he's so strong to me, and then he looks at me like I'm so strong to him. So it was just, it's just great. It's like, it makes you feel worth it, especially when you look up to somebody and you look up to somebody and they look up to you back, and so where you guys are feeling equal. And it's not like you're looking up to somebody, anything, you just feel good being accepted by another. And so that's what me and Lil Peep had.
The reality is that Peep is like a fucking Viking, and that he probably could muscle the unimaginable. However, he took, over the lethal dose of fentanyl. I mean, there's no fucking, that's just death. That's like death for anyone who takes it, He got spiked with something that like was far more than any system could take, he just got fucking killed,
I remember seeing one video as a kid in the beginning. It was daylight still. He was passed out. And then the second video with Bexy, and it was already dark, and he already looked like he was fucking gone.
At least hours, like 4 or 5 hours go by. And there's obviously like timestamps for this too. So there's like proof that like 4 or 5 hours go by and the sun's down and he's in the exact same position. Like no one decided to touch him, not one person.
Listen, I came onto the bus, and my first thing I always do is check on Peep. Went straight to the back of the bus. Everybody's on the bus now, at the front. Opened the door, seen him, blanket, like light off first of all, aircon blowing, which is something he does when he goes to sleep, yeah? He's covered in a blanket, and his head's back, looking like he's knocked out. I was under the belief, that Peep went to sleep.
So how the fuck, is there any type of motive or any reasoning behind some type of conspiracy? I can't even go online, my nigga. Looking at my mom in the eyes, bro, like every little thing that I've ever done wrong just blown up, my nigga. It's the most embarrassing thing, my nigga. And especially when I know the fucking truth, And I know that this shit is just so wrong, my nigga, and just all lies. I'm just so paranoid, like, may not even be y'all doing. I don't know how this may be flipped, What specific parts of this documentary are gonna be pointed against me and my family?
Okay, see, truthfully, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I understand 100% if this overdose, that's what it was, and everyone thought he was asleep, but like also like the defense being so defensive, I don't know, like it's hard because I understand like if the way everyone is spinning it is so entirely wrong, I get it, but I also feel like I don't know how I feel about it. It just rubs me the wrong way, like how angry he is, and like if what they said was true, that he was there for 4 hours in the same position and nobody checked on him. I don't know. Like, I understand someone being asleep, but like, personally, after like an hour or so, wouldn't somebody have checked on him? Being, you know what I mean? Especially Pete being such an energetic and outgoing person and always, you know, being there to talk and just being that person for everyone. Like, 4 hours go by and nobody checks on him. Like, I don't know, to me it's just sounding like no one took responsibility in making sure he was okay, and by the time someone did, it was already too late.
You know what I mean? It will have nothing to do with you guys. It will be completely out of here, bro. You feel me? No, I mean like after this comes out, you feel me? Certain parts that get picked up, you know what I mean? And edited by the conspiracist and, oh, this is why this happened and this is why suck my dick, bitch, nigga. That's why this happened, nigga. You feel me? Fuck you, bitch, nigga. You got me fucked up, nigga. That's why this happened.
Peep's death, it's a lot of mystery behind it. What the fuck was everybody doing? Like, I'm not sitting here pointing no fingers. I wouldn't know, so I don't know. Like, hey, you need 30 minutes? Okay, cool. You need an hour? All right, a little weird. But 4 hours? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know exactly what happened, but to me, something ain't right. I'm telling you right now, keep this in there. Half the people that's gonna be in this documentary, they bullshitting, they cloud chasing. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. You have to be aware of your surroundings, because not everybody your friend.
Which I think is so real. Like, especially just watching that previous guy, like, why are you so mad? Why are you so angry? If you know deep in your heart and your soul that what you said happened, why are you so mad? You know what I mean? Why are you so aggressive with it? Because truthfully, honestly, I can't say how I would react in this situation, but if I know the truth, then that's what I'm conveying. The truth of what happened, I'm laying the facts out, and that's it. You know what I mean? I just feel like it doesn't look so good to be so angry and so mad, and to compare it to every wrongdoing you've done in your life. You have to look at your mom's eyes and it all comes forward. Like, what? I don't know, it's just giving real shady, and Peep had a lot of people around him.
So I believe he was starting to wake up, but he just couldn't, because he didn't get the opportunity to. Everything came back full circle.
We're right here. I'll be back in the morning. I know that I'm not that important to you, but to me, girl, it's so much more than gorgeous. So much more than perfect. Right now, I know that I'm not really important. If you give me time, I can work on it. Give me some time while I work on it. Losing your patience.
He did not get to have his life. He was going to get to really have a experience. I think what really is heartbreaking to me, though, is that he had endured a lot of pain and he had fought his way through it. And he was, you know, he'd fought his way through the pain of his childhood, really, but he just didn't give up. But that's why I have anger
that's the thing, you know, so like all of this is like you get holding on to him, and then don't want to let him go. But you definitely don't want to you just don't want to let him go.
I'd had my usual day, a couple hours at the gym in the morning and then working hard in the afternoon. Come home about 6:30, make my soup, and go to bed. And get up at 5 and do my routine for the next day. And, but then some point in the middle of the night, the light went on and Jenny, Allysa's mother, came. She has a key to the house, and she came in and kind of just touched me, and with the light, I woke up, and she said, I was kind of taking a breath, Gus is dead. And that woke me up. I don't think I'd felt anything that bad. Or so strangely bad. Ever before. It's just a wound that I think it heals, but only in the sense that the pain of it never really ends. The shock of the pain subsides unevenly, because sometimes, you know, the littlest thing. Harvard Square, I see some kid walking along the way Gus walked in a kind of, I don't know what kind of, how to describe it. And just, you know, I mean, daily, it gets to you. You know, everybody's life in that way is some kind of instant in eternity. And the good in it is just there forever. I mean, I think Augustine got that from Plato, and from what he understood from Greekish Gospels like John, that these things are limitlessly good, and that makes me feel I don't have to worry about it. It's just true. I mean, there's that gospel song that I remembered some point over the last few years about this little light of mine. But the chorus is wonderful, more than the verses, I think. It's about, do remember me way beyond the blue. I think that's where truth is, way beyond the blue. But it's as real as it is here and now. So Gus is gone, but you know, he's way beyond the blue. The deepest significance of being in the world, but not of it. You don't have to accept the limits of it. And certainly Gus didn't. And he had work to do, and he wanted to do it, to say what he had to say, a real bell-ringing truth. He wanted to get it right and get it out. And I think that's, you know, real art, and more than that, real soul.
Club lights, we fly every night. Baby, I don't wanna do that. Your tight, jeans tight, dirty Sprite. She like, how the fuck you do that? I can't be there all the time, but you know I gotta prove that I can't leave here anytime soon. I got something to do, yeah. Walk away as the door slams. You got blood in your poor hands. I just wanted to help, now I'm going to hell. Walk away as the door slams. Walk away as the door slams. You got blood in your poor hands. I just wanted to help, now I'm going to hell. Walk away as the door slams. Club lights, we fly every night. Baby, I don't wanna do that. Your tight, jeans tight, dirty Sprite. She like, how the fuck you do that? I can't be there all the time, but you know I gotta prove that I can't leave here anytime soon. I got something to do, yeah. Walk away as the door slams. You got blood in your poor hands. I just wanted to help, now I'm going to hell. Walk away as the door slams. Walk away as the door slams. You got blood in your poor hands. I just wanted to help, now I'm going to hell. Walk away as the door slams.
That was the last part of Everybody's Everything, and now I understand the title. Honestly, guys, I think this one was my favorite documentary out of Juice WRLD Into the Abyss, out of Triple X, which both of those were wonderful documentaries, don't get me wrong, but this, everything about it was wholesome. The way they portrayed everything he was, from a little boy to his family, especially his grandpa, the letters he would write to him, and just like seeing how pure of a soul Gus was. And I feel like it's only respectful to call him Gus after watching, you know, essentially his death. I think it leaves more questions than answers in some ways. I think his death, obviously an overdose, that's what happened, right? But I think the details surrounding it are a little bit odd. I think especially when you hear from, I apologize, I don't remember the name of his close friend with, you know, the big hair, but I feel like hearing his perspective, he basically kind of nailed on the head exactly what I was saying in the previous clip about like 1 hour, okay, 4 hours. And how the guy previous, like I mentioned, was just so angry and so defensive. I think that says something, because when you are confident in your truth, you're not angry. You're not worried about what naysayers are saying because you know what happened. You know what I mean? Like the same way when we watched Juice WRLD Into the Abyss, and I understand you guys didn't get to see those clips because they got deleted from YouTube, but the clips of like the Kid Leroy specifically and everyone who was there speaking about it, everyone had the same story, but more importantly, everyone spoke their truth calm. No one was like angry about it. It was, this is what happened. And I think, I don't know why I understand why they included that last guy, well, that second to last guy in there, because I think it's very telling. And just the way that his mind instantly went to, and who knows how this documentary is going to be spun. Who knows how people are going to speak about this. Like, that's where his mind was. It wasn't what happened that day. It wasn't like, let's just hear the truth, what happened in from your perspective. I don't even remember if he said anything that actually happened. All it was defense, defense, defense. You know what I mean? So I think that is the one thing that leaves me questioning. I think management was very poor. I don't know much about that Australian or British lady. She seemed to care a little bit more. But as far as his management just not seeming to care about him as a person, aside from him being an artist, I think it shows. I think in the same way Juice WRLD was going down a road that he couldn't handle, Peep was as well. But I think it's also like, it's different in a lot of ways, because I think Peep's addiction almost came from him just constantly being surrounded by people and not being able to say no. And, you know, like people quite literally feeding him drugs left and right, you know. It's not to say that he wouldn't have had an addiction, but I also feel like had he not been surrounded by so many different types of people all the time who felt like giving him drugs was a way to get things out of him, I don't know if he would have, you know, kind of like when his girlfriend was talking about how he would always say like he could quit any time and he would go, you know, weeks without doing anything. I don't think his addiction necessarily stemmed from him constantly needing drugs. I think drugs were just constantly around him, and the people around him didn't give a fuck. And they just kept feeding him drugs, not caring about the consequences. And I don't know, something about his death rubs me the wrong way, knowing that he was there for 4 hours. Because it's just like, I don't know. It's hard to say because obviously I don't know how long he had been gone. But what it sounds like to me is he was dead for a while. And they only called the ambulance when they actually realized the extent of what happened. And it sounds fucked up to say, but in my opinion, I don't think they called the ambulance looking for help. I think they called the ambulance because Gus was dead. And they knew, like, damn, like, this is some shit. You know what I mean? And, like, I watch a lot of true crime, and I enjoy hearing 911 calls because I think they're very telling. I think you can tell when people are, like, really surprised and taken aback and, like, actually panicked. And I don't want to judge the person who called 911, but, like, he didn't seem all that worried. You know what I mean? Like, obviously there was, like, that, okay, like, something's wrong. But, like, I think if that were me, personally, and like I said, like, I don't know how I would have reacted, but I would like to think that I would be a lot more panicked. I would be a lot more, you know, like, get cold water on him, CPR. Like, I would have started doing CPR a long-ass time ago. You know what I mean? So it's, like, it just seems like Gus was gone and they realized the severity of the situation, and that's why they called 911. But those are my thoughts. let me know, guys. You guys know a lot more about all of these artists, but especially Lil Peep, because you guys recommended him. Like I said, I hadn't listened to his music beforehand. But yeah, that is all I have for this documentary. Thank you guys for everyone who recommended it. It was a really great documentary. And I like doing music reactions, don't get me wrong, but it gets draining. Like, it gets draining having to deal with everyone's opinions and thoughts and them disliking the way I react to things, disliking the fact that I have opinions. So I like to do documentaries because I enjoy understanding the artist for who they were as a person with their music and also outside of their music, because I think it then allows me a better connection to their music. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, that's all I have for today's video, guys. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for engagement. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.